Greetings from beyond the screen. Don't worry about Callum in the background, he's just here to serve as a backdrop. It will be here for quite a while, so feel free to read what he had to say. Another day in apocalyptic America has taken the internet by storm at the time of writing this. In August, a Ukrainian woman, Iryna Zarutska, who fled the danger of her European brethren waging war upon each other, found herself bleeding out while blacks watched her dying on the floor of a light rail. Zarutska's killer, a black man with 14 arrests, I might add, Decarlos Brown Jr., spurred by subhuman savagery, stabbed the young woman in the neck. The tragedy only reached the public's attention in September, after the video started circulating on Twitter, with Charlotte, North Carolina Mayor Bailey's, a Democrat, predictably downplaying the seriousness of the matter by chalking Brown's barbaric behavior up to a mental health crisis. It's doubtful that a career criminal could benefit from gaining compassion. Brown wasn't bothered to show the same to Zarutska. Even Republicans struggled to secure a stance that could bring an understanding to the plague blighting the Western world, because they'd be called racist. The so-called tangerine tyrant, it's a good one, I know, said Zarutska's murder was the result of Democrats refusing to put bad people in jail. The terrible truth is this: increases incarceration fails to acknowledge a foreboding fact. Particular peoples are incompatible with the Western world. With having lived in South Africa all 25 years of my life, I know Trinket has already taken me. I can't be a Fed boy anymore. There's a certain senseless savagery that has become commonplace. Bodies butchered, babies broken, etc. I would paint a much more descriptive picture, but I might violate TOS by that point. The moment the same reality repeats itself abroad, it becomes difficult to ignore patterns, and the words of taboo white authors become profound, even to me, a brown femboy. Many nations built by white men fell victim to the siren song of guilt and sought to make amends for so-called historical injustices. A misstep all too readily abused by Jews and racists envious of whites. Regarding the former group, I should be grateful that my government is stupid enough to side with Palestine, though I'd rather prefer they side with neither one. Mutually assured destruction is the most preferred outcome. Though to touch on them, the plethora of anti-white articles, essays, etc. were often written by Jews, if not written by them, then funded by them. Much like how immigration NGOs are funded and run by the shekel shakers. A favorite of mine is a sociologist examines the white fragility that prevents white Americans from confronting racism, where Katie Waldman, yes, she's a Jew, glazes Robin DiAngelo as if she were a donut for her book White Fragility. Waldman works for the New Yorker. New Yorker is owned by Coda Nest. Coda Nest is owned by Advanced Publications. Advanced Publications is owned by the Newhouse family, a Jewish family. See, I have all my evidence. I have my conspiracy board, and the red thread keeps on going. It's why Western nations seem incapable of course correcting. If you have useful idiots like DiAngelo enabling the washing away of whites by racists and Jews, then it should be no surprise to see the horrors we do, from the UK government allowing for the rape of millions of white girls, by monstrous Muslims to the senseless stabbings by blacks like Camillo Anthony and Decarlos Brown Jr. It is all deliberately done to destroy whites. None of it was, is, or will ever be an accident, coincidence, incompetence, and more. It is simply evil. And I will end things off by reading an excerpt from A Black Panther, so you can see how far this insidiousness goes. This little excerpt is from Eldridge Cleaver. I became a rapist. To refine my technique and modus operandi, I started by practicing on black girls in the ghetto. In the black ghetto, where dark and vicious deeds appear not as aberrations or deviations from the norm, but as part of the sufficiency of the evil of a day, and when I considered myself smooth enough. This is a read. I crossed the tracks and sought out white prey. I did this consciously, deliberately, willfully, methodically. Though looking back, I see that I was in a frantic, wild, and completely abandoned frame of mind. I doubt you were in any frame of mind that wouldn't have you put down like a rabid dog. I hope he was put down like a rabid dog. Rape was an insurrectionary act. It delighted me that I was defying and trampling upon the white man's law, upon his system of values, and that I was defiling his woman. And this point, I believe, was the most satisfying to me because I was very resentful over the historical fact of how the white man has used the black woman. I felt I was getting revenge from the sight of the act of rape. Consternation spreads outwardly in concentric circles. I wanted to send waves of consternation throughout the white race. Recently, I came upon a quotation from one of Leroy Jones' poems, taken from his book, The Dead Lecturer. Thankfully, they all are dead. That's at least the one silver lining when we keep looking at this. A cult of dead need of the simple striking arm under the street lamp. The cutters from under their rented earth come up, black Dardanellimus, rape the white girls, rape their fathers, cut the mothers' throats. This seems vaguely familiar. Oh, yes.
But we're starting with this whiteness. We're cutting the throat of whiteness.
I've lived those lines, and I know that if I had not been apprehended, I would have slit some white throats. Also, a little bit to add on, is the New York Times considered this brilliant. And we all know who owns the New York Times. Thank you for stopping by.